he addresses his child with a final message, urging them to listen for these words. Do not come from any man, nor from a screen or mere chance. They come directly from Jesus their Lord, their Creator and Redeemer. He is speaking to them at this very moment because heaven has declared an emergency over their life. Time is running out and the window He opened for them is closing faster than they realize. They must not ignore his voice. They cannot delay. For 2 minutes he asks them to stop everything and give him their full attention. These 2 minutes are holy. They are divine, and they will decide whether they step into the future He has prepared for them or lose the very blessings He has been holding back for this moment. He is not speaking to everyone. He speaks to that chosen one. The one whose heart is trembling as they read these words. The one who feels this strange pull inside. The one who has been crying silently, asking him for a sign. This is their sign. This is their answer. This is their rescue. They have wondered if he still hears them, if he still sees them, if he still cares. He is here now to assure them that he has heard every cry, seen every single tear, and he has counted every sleepless night. But now he must speak plainly because this is no gentle reminder. It is a divine emergency. They must obey his words now, or they will lose what he has been trying to give them. He has waited. He has whispered and sent signs in small ways, but they ignored them thinking they had more time. They believed the delay would not matter, but the time of delay is over. Heaven has sounded the alarm and he is speaking. For the last time before certain doors close forever, they stand on the edge of something eternal. They do not see it, but he does. He sees the blessing waiting to be released. The promise about to manifest. The purpose that is trembling at the threshold. But if they hesitate, if they scroll away, if they let distraction pull them from this word, it will vanish. They think this is just another message, another voice among many, but this one is different. It carries the breath of heaven. His spirit is moving through these very words right now, calling their heart, shaking their soul. Because he loves them too much to stay silent any longer, he is not warning his beloved to frighten them. He is pleading to awaken them. He has seen what the enemy has planned against them. He has seen how he has surrounded their mind with confusion, fear and doubt. He has whispered lies to make them believe that they can wait, that nothing urgent is happening. But he is lying. He knows this message is their turning point and he will do anything to distract them from it. So he speaks with the authority of heaven. They must not move. They must not look away or let another thought steal this moment. The next 2 minutes are not ordinary time. They are sacred. The angels are watching. Heaven is silent. The universe itself holds its breath because the decision they make right now will shape everything that comes after. Will they listen? Will they obey? Will they trust him long enough to hear exactly what he is saying? His voice breaks through the noise of the world like thunder. Yet it carries tenderness deeper than any human comfort. He is not angry with them. His children, he is desperate for them to listen. The moment they decide to obey, everything begins to change. The very chains that held them bound will start to break. The fears that have controlled their nights will begin to fade. The confusion that clouded their mind will lift like fog before the morning sun. But they must stay. They must listen. They must obey now. They ask, Lord, why so urgent? Why now? Because the window is closing. There are blessings written in heaven with their names on them, but they are waiting for their obedience. There are miracles He prepared that cannot be released until they take this moment seriously. There are doors that will shut forever if they let this word pass. His heart breaks to say this, but He has witnessed too many turn away at the moment of breakthrough. Too many walk away just before the miracle is born. He does not want that to be their story. He is not far away. He is standing beside them even now. His presence is surrounding them. His Spirit is stirring within them. They can feel it. That trembling in their chest, that warmth in their spirit. It is Him confirming that this is real. His final message is not meant to condemn anyone but to call them home. They have wandered long enough. They have fought battles that were never theirs to fight. They tried to do things their own way, ending up weary, drained, and lost. He is telling them now to stop, to let Him lead and obey His words for just 2 minutes, to see what only He can do. Fear must not deceive them into silence, nor should pride convince them that this is not for them. He knows their deepest struggles, their hidden sins, their regrets and heartbreaks. Yet He still calls them His. He keeps on speaking to them, offering mercy before judgment, love calling out before they face loss. They have prayed to Him for a sign that He has not forgotten them. This is that sign. The fact that they are hearing this right now proves that heaven is not finished with them. They write thanking God for holding their hand, feeling His closeness right now. They are urged not to resist Him. He has waited for this moment since their birth. He has aligned everything so these words would reach them exactly when their soul was ready. He stopped the noise of the world to reach the quiet of their heart. He stands at the door, knocking. If they open their heart and listen, for these next 2 minutes, He will pour His peace like living water into their spirit. But if they turn away, that peace will not come. The storm will not cease. And the moment will pass forever. This is His final message to them, not because His love will end, but because time passes. The window is narrow and eternity is closer than they think. They must choose, listen, obey. They must rest before Him, letting His words sink into their souls. If they obey Him now, He will shift everything around them. Their circumstances, their hearts, their future. But if they walk away, they will lose what cannot be replaced. So He wants again not to scroll, not to delay, to not let these words fade into the background. Today, listen. For these 2 minutes, offering Him their full hearts, and He promises He will give them back their lives. For His beloved children, heaven's clock is moving and its hands are trembling at the edge of time. Every second that passes now carries eternal weight. He speaks not from impatience, but from mercy, for He sees what they do not see. He sees how close this world is to the breaking point. Their hearts are running out of time to choose light over darkness, truth over deception, Him over the world. The spiritual clock has reached its final moments for many hearts. And He is crying, out once more, not to frighten them, but to awaken them before the silence comes. He is speaking again because he loves them too deeply to stay quiet. While their destiny hangs by a thread, do they feel the urgency pressing upon their spirits? That uneasiness, that pull, that sense that something greater is shifting all around them. It is not their imagination. It is heaven calling their name. God has been reaching for them through signs they thought were random, the dreams that unsettled them, the moments when everything went wrong only to slow them down, the whispers in their minds telling them to pray. The strange coincidences that caught their attention were all God trying to speak before it was too late. Yet they brushed them away. They said maybe tomorrow, maybe later, but now there is no later. The Lord is here and is calling them now because the window they stand before is closing. But time is not infinite the way they truly believe. They measure their days by calendars and clocks, but He measures them by purpose and obedience. The world moves forward thinking there will always be another sunrise, another chance, another moment to decide. But He warns them time is folding in upon itself. A season of hesitation is ending. There is a divine countdown in motion unseen by human eyes. And when it reaches zero, the door of mercy will shut. Not because He wants to shut it, but because it cannot remain open forever. His patience is endless in love. But the opportunities attached to time are not. He has sent angels to guide, to whisper truth into their chaos. They have stood by their bed as they wept. They have walked beside them when they felt utterly alone. They have fought for them when they did not even realize they were in battle. Heaven has been interceding for their souls, pleading for them to finally hear before the noise of the world drowns His voice completely. But distractions have grown louder. The flashing lights of this world have blinded many. And the soft whisper of His Spirit has been drowned by the endless noise of hurry, fear, and pleasure. But listen closely. This is no small moment. This is eternity reaching into time. A spiritual door that is very real. It is the door of mercy. The door of second chances, the door of delayed obedience that has stretched wide because of His deep love. But even that door of grace has hinges that will not hold forever. When it shuts, no amount of regret, no flood of tears, no desperate cries will open it again. Once the light fades, there will be only memory. And He does not want those memories to be filled with what could have been. That is why He cries out now with a love so fierce that even heaven trembles at its sound. Believers must understand that He is not punishing them with this urgency. He is protecting them with it. The delay they cling to, the waiting for a better time, the thought that they can return when they are ready. All are illusions from the enemy meant to lull them into spiritual sleep. He wants them to believe that there is always tomorrow, so they will never act today. But the Lord declares, there is no promise of tomorrow without obedience today. The enemy fears that decision more than anything else. Because once they choose Him fully, every chain He has used to bind them will be broken in a single breath. It is why He speaks again louder, clearer, pressing deeper than before. Support the mission of spreading faith and joy. A super thanks donation helps keep inspiring lives and sharing God's love every day. Heaven watches as the seconds tick. Angels stand ready to move the moment the heart surrenders everything they have prayed for: peace, direction, healing, restoration is waiting on their yes. Every second counts now because each second of obedience opens a floodgate of blessings, and each second of delay strengthens the walls that keep them out. Fear must not keep anyone behind that wall. Fear whispers, "You are not ready." Comfort whispers, "You have time." But he whispers now. Every second counts, he says to his child, because time is unkind to hesitation. It steals dreams, erases chances, and closes doors that once stood open. He knows. They feel small, but obedience has never been about their strength. It has always been about their surrender. The moment they choose him fully, something divine will begin to unfold. A wave of reversal that no human effort could ever produce. The chaos that has followed them will break. The patterns of loss, confusion, and despair will shatter. The heaviness that sits on their spirit will lift like smoke blown by the wind. For he is not a distant God who watches in silence. He is the one who moves when they move. He is the God of sudden turnarounds, of impossible restorations, of new beginnings that rise from the ashes of old failures. But he cannot release what they will not receive, and they cannot receive what they and refuse to act. He wants them to see this sacred exchange. He offers his divine peace for their panic, his certainty for their confusion, his strength for their weakness. Yet this exchange requires their complete obedience. He does not demand perfection. He does not ask for flawless understanding. He only asks for their heart. They must surrender it before it hardens. He calls their name in mercy now. They must yield before silence falls. For once that deep silence falls, only echoes of his voice will remain. His beloved, he feels their hearts trembling as they hear this. That trembling is the echo of eternity within them. They must not harden with excuses, nor silence it with fear, for he offers them something greater than this world can ever provide. This is not about rules or empty rituals, but about divine rescue. He is the Savior who bled for them, standing at the edge of time, extending his hand one last time. They must reach out while the light still shines, and grasp it while they hear his voice. They wonder why the Lord speaks with such a weight. Why so serious? Why so final? Because love cannot watch ruin in silence. When he loves, he shouts before the fire consumes. He shakes them awake before the flood sweeps them away. That is exactly what he is doing now, shaking their spirits awake. The Lord is calling louder than any of their doubts. He is breaking down the walls they built to protect themselves from pain, because those very barriers keep him locked out. If they let them fall, he will enter. This is their lifeline. These words are more than simple sentences. They are rescue ropes thrown down from heaven. They must not look away or let this message fade into the daily noise. The urgency they feel is not pressure. It is divine purpose. They were created for this very moment. And this moment will define their eternity. They have cried for change, and he answers with authority. They begged for signs, and now he gives them a choice. The answer they seek lies in the obedience he now asks for. If they choose him fully in this moment, he will unleash a wave of divine reversal. What was broken will be mended. What was stolen will be restored. What was delayed will now be accelerated. He will go before them and level mountains. He will silence the storms. He will do what no human can. Because when they obey him, they align with heavenly timing. And heaven's timing is perfect. But if they turn away, if they treat this message as a mere emotional moment, they will watch the light fade from the path ahead. The opportunities waiting for them will dissolve like mist in the morning. It will not be his punishment. It will be the consequence of choosing delay over destiny. He will still love them, but he cannot force them to step through the door. Death is closing. His child must pause now. The heavy weight of time presses upon their spirit. This is not the end of hope. It is the call to awaken before hope passes them by. They must not wait for another message. This is their message. They must not wait for another sign. This is their sign. Heaven's cry has reached their ears. The time to act is now. And the Lord pauses. He waits and watches as heaven leans in to see what they will do. This is the stillness between two eternities. The moment where destiny is decided. They must hear his voice. This is their lifeline before the window of time closes forever. He calls his child closer. Let the noise fade until there is nothing left but his voice and the rhythm of their own heart. He is going to show them something sacred, something few ever dare to face. The mirror of their soul. They see their reflection every day in the glass of this world. But rarely do they stop to see what he sees beneath it on. They say they love him and he knows that they mean it. He has heard their prayers, their whispered words of faith, their vows of surrender. But their heart, his beloved, drifts like a leaf in the wind. Every distraction, every fear, every demand of life pulls it away from him again. He does not condemn them for this. He is revealing it so that he can heal it. He wants to draw them so close that nothing can pull them away again. Do they remember the nights they almost gave up, the nights when their chest felt too heavy to breathe? When tears soaked their pillow, when they begged for peace that never seemed to come. He was there. He never left then. When they thought their prayers vanished into silence, he caught every word before it hit the ground. He watched every tear slide down their face, counting them. Not one was wasted. He held them in those long hours when they thought nobody saw them, when they felt invisible even in a crowd. He wrapped his presence around them. When their strength was gone, when the world turned cold, he kept them warm with grace. They were never alone. Even in the moments they felt completely forgotten, they remember those mornings when they woke with a heaviness that would not lift. That heaviness was not their end. It was his call. He was trying to get their attention, trying to draw them away from the noise that numbed them. The world told them to push through, to stay busy, to chase success, to fill the ache with things that fade. But he whispered, "Be still." He whispered, "Come back." Every storm, every setback, every unanswered prayer, none of them were punishments. They were invitations. He allowed them not to harm them, but to pull them back toward him. They wanted control. But control was never safety. Truth is, they have tried to fix themselves without him, haven't they? They have tried to carry burdens too heavy for human shoulders. They told themselves if they could just work harder, think better, pray more, maybe they'd finally get it right. But they don't need to fix what only he can restore. They tried to control outcomes that belong only in his hands. They wanted results without relationship, peace without his presence, blessings without true surrender. And whenever they ran ahead, he let the path grow rough. Not because he wanted them to fall, but because he wanted them to stop and seek him. They have cried over his delays. They have cried out to heaven when prayers got unanswered. But he tells them the truth. No delay was wasted. No silence was empty. Whenever he made them wait, it was because he was building something deeper within them. He delayed to strengthen their faith, holding back to refine their hearts. He said, "Not yet," because he loved them too much to give what they were not ready to hold. What they called loss was sometimes his protection. What they called unanswered was sometimes him whispering, "Trust me." They thought they were wandering through deserts, but those deserts were the paths to their promise. They thought they fought alone in battles, but those battles were the training ground for their destiny. They thought he turned his face away, but he was closer than their breath. His silence was not absence. It was the stillness before his revelation. They could not hear his voice then because he was teaching them to recognize it in the quiet. He bids his children look closely, to look into their own souls not with fear, but with truth. He does not seek to shame them, but to show them how much they need his grace. To examine their hearts, the bruised parts, the hidden fears, the unspoken guilt they carry like heavy stones. To see the pride that whispers, "I can do this on my own." To witness the resentment that lingers because of the pain others cause. He sees it all and still he calls them his. He sees their wounds and is not repelled. He is drawn to them because he came to heal the broken-hearted and to set the captives free. They tell themselves that they trust him. But trust is more than words. Trust is the moment when they hand him what they cannot understand. It is when they release the why and accept his when. They have been afraid that if they surrender they will lose control. But dear souls, the control they cling to is an illusion. They were never meant to steer the storm. They were meant to rest in the arms of the one who commands the wind and the waves. Every part of their story has been leading to this very moment of surrender. The disappointments, the betrayals, the lonely nights, they have all been working together to bring them back to him. They see only fragments of their journey, but he sees the whole tapestry. Every thread, even the dark ones, weaves a purpose they will understand only when they look back from the other side of pain. He never wasted a moment of their suffering. He turned it into soil where their faith would grow. They must see now this message is not punishment. It is mercy dressed in urgency. He is not scolding them. He is saving them. The reason he speaks with such weight is because the world is pulling too hard at their souls. The distractions are too loud. The subtle temptations and the heart too precious to be lost in them. He wants them back fully. Not just when it's convenient, but completely. He desires every corner of their heart, every hidden room, every locked door. He wants to enter where fear has built walls, breaking them down, one by one. He knows what they've been carrying, the shame they can't speak of, the disappointments that haunt them, the guilt that whispers they're not enough. But he speaks now with power and tenderness. They are enough because he is enough in them. His grace does not depend on their perfection. It depends on their surrender. They have spent too long trying to earn what he already gave freely, to stop striving and start receiving. He holds up the mirror to his child, not to condemn them, but to invite them to look and see not just what they are, but what they could be if they let him have it all. He sees potential where they see failure. He sees destiny where they see defeat. He sees a story still being written, not a life too far gone. They have doubted his love because of their past. But he never left. Even when they ran, his eyes followed them. Even when they hid, his light found them. They were never beyond his reach. Now, as they stand before him in this moment, he asks only this to cleanse what fear has corrupted, to rebuild what pride has broken, to touch what pain has hardened, to open the doors they kept shut, letting the tears come if they must. They are not weakness, but a washing. He will take the bitterness and replace it with peace. He will take the confusion and replace it with perfect clarity. He will take our broken pieces and make them whole again. We must not resist him any longer. We have carried the heavy weight of pretending to be strong, but now he asks us to be honest, to lay everything at his feet. Our worries, our anger, our exhaustion, our plans. He will never turn us away. He never has. His hands still bear the scars that prove how far he went to win us back. Those scars are not reminders of pain. They are proof of love. Looking once more into the mirror of our souls, do we see the cracks? Those cracks are where his light enters. Do we see the wounds? Those wounds are where his healing begins. We no longer have to fear what we see because he is not afraid of it. He is the healer of the hidden, the restorer of what was lost, the lifter of the broken. He is calling us now to stop trying to manage our lives alone. Stop running from his love. We cannot clean our own reflection, but we can stand before him and let him do it. He will wash away the stains of guilt and doubt, and he will make us new. We will look into that mirror and finally see not shame, not failure, but his image staring back at us. He invites his children to let him into our hidden depths, to let him breathe life into what we thought was dead, to let him restore the years that were stolen, to let him fill our hearts with peace until the chaos fades. We were never meant to fix ourselves. We were meant to be fixed in his presence. They were never meant to carry the burden. They were meant to lay it down. They were never meant to walk alone. They were meant to walk with him. This is their moment of truth, their sacred reflection. They must not look away or harden their hearts. He is standing before them, not with judgment, but with mercy. Not with anger, but with compassion. His eyes see beyond their failures into the beauty of who he created them to be. He wants to cleanse what fear corrupted. He wants to rebuild what pride broke. He longs to make them whole again. His beloved child sits quietly with him now. He sees how weary they've become from the storms of this life. He sees how long they've carried pain that no one truly understood. He sees the loneliness that they tried to hide, the fear that they masked with strength, the tears that fell when the lights went out and no one was there to comfort them. But he was there. He has always been there. He was there when they wanted to give up, when hope felt like a story for other people, when they whispered in the dark, God, if you are real, please don't leave me. He was there in that room, closer than their breath, and before the tear could hit the floor, he caught it. Every single one. He caught it and kept it because every tear they've ever shed has meaning to him. Every cry of their heart has been written in his book, and every ache has been seen by heaven. They thought he was silent, that he had turned his face away while the world pressed in on them. They thought he didn't care when prayers went unanswered and when promises seemed forgotten. But he was never still. He walked behind the curtain of their understanding, moving in the praises they could not see, shaping their pain into preparation. They were not being punished. They were being prepared. They thought the season of waiting was abandonment, but it was shaping their destiny. He was molding them in hidden places, strengthening what was weak and softening what had grown hard. While they thought he was far away, he was closer than ever, crafting beauty from the ashes of what they lost. When betrayal came, when someone they trusted broke their heart, he was there, holding the fragments they couldn't gather. When fear wrapped around them like a chain and they could not breathe beneath its weight, he was the quiet presence in the room, whispering peace. When they felt loss strip them bare, when it seemed like joy would never return, he was planting seeds of restoration beneath the soil of their grief. When exhaustion drained them to their core, he became their strength, though they didn't yet know it. They looked around and saw emptiness, but he was already feeling what they couldn't see. He was the hand beneath their fall, the whisper that kept them alive, the warmth that wrapped their cold heart until it beat again. Every scar they carry tells a story, and he has traced them all with his own hands. They saw them as shame, but he saw them as evidence of survival. They saw their wounds as weakness, but he saw them as doorways for his power. He never despised their weakness. He never looked at their shaking hands or a trembling heart turning away. He leaned closer. He used their brokenness as a canvas for his glory. The cracks in their heart became places where his light could shine through. The pain they thought would destroy them became the soil where compassion was born. Every scar became a sign of his love, proof that he never let go, that even in the fire, he was holding them close. To him, their brokenness was not their enemy. It was sacred. When they were shattered, he did not see defeat. He saw opportunity, for in the breaking their heart became soft enough for him to reshape it. The moments that left them undone were not the end. They were the beginning of something holy. He was not angry when they doubted. He was not disappointed when they cried. He wept with them. He sat beside them in the stillness when no one else stayed. He watched over them when they couldn't lift their own head. He whispered hope when their voice was gone. They thought they were alone, but he was the unseen presence holding their world together. Piece by piece, every prayer they had ever prayed reached him. Not one slipped past his notice. He heard the ones they said aloud, and he heard the ones they only thought too afraid to speak. He heard their silent cries in crowded places, the ones hidden behind forced smiles. He has recorded them all, not to remind them of pain, but to show them later how faithfully he answered each one. Some he answered quickly, others he delayed, but none were ignored. His timing was not denial. It was divine design. The Lord answered by protecting them when they asked for what would have harmed them. He answered by closing doors that would have led to destruction. He answered by preparing blessings greater than they ever dared to ask. The Lord knows they asked him, Why did I have to suffer so much? Why did you let me lose what I loved? Why did it have to hurt this way? And he answers them now, not with anger but with love. Because pain was the only language that could break the walls around their hearts. Pain was the tool that made them listen when comfort could not. Pain stripped away what was shallow, so that something eternal could take root. He would not waste their suffering. Every ounce of pain they endured has purpose.